This thing right here is letting all the ladies know what guys talk about. You know, the finer things in life. Ha ha ha, check it out. Ooh, that dress, so scandalous. And y'all know another nigga can't handle it.
So today we have a very important episode. Today we're going to talk about something that's very, very important and underrated in the world of YouTube magic tutorial videos. And that is this finger right here. This underrated finger. This, which might be the most important finger in the entirety of card magic, but it's underrated and something that's not talked about often because we just skip it. We gloss it over. We think, hey, you know what? You're competent enough to search up YouTube videos trying to teach you magic. So I'm sure you know everything there is to know about how this finger is the most important finger in all of card magic. Actually, it's this finger because most people are right-handed. Left-handed people don't count as much as right-handed people. So today we're going to talk about how to improve your pinky break. You know, sometimes I wonder where it is that I came in life when I'm making videos and I'm chopping them up. I'm opening them up here on Adobe Premiere talking about pinky breaks. I don't know where my life went, but here we are ready to show you how you could have the best pinky break on the block. But of course, this video wouldn't go anywhere if it wasn't sponsored. Sponsored by the Pigcake Magic Academy. 2 videos every single week going over card and coin stuff. Going over everything you need to know to be the best magician you could possibly be. Over 300 videos already going over every aspect of magic, all right? You got card magic, you got coin magic. If you put 10 bucks a month, guess what? That's the Mentalism Academy. But that's not here nor there. $5 a month gets you 2 videos every single week going over card and coin stuff. Sign up. What are you waiting for? Rave reviews all around. What did I drop today? I dropped the self-working spread call. Self-working spread call? Check it out. Go ahead and check it out. Look at me scheduling things as if I'm competent. Also, we're back to the track cam. I like this. There's dynamic movement. This camera isn't racist anymore and actually picking up my face even though it's being hidden by a balaclava mask. It's no longer thinking I'm some sort of recruitment video for some foreign terrorist organization. Now there's some competency in this DJI Osmo Pocket, which by the way is probably the greatest camera of all time. I know I've said it about every single camera that I've ever bought. The only problem with this camera is one Achilles heel, and that's the audio. You see how far I have to be right now? So I have to get a lav mic. I have to get a lavalier microphone to connect from my face to my pocket with a lav mic cable that's about, I don't know, 25 feet long. Fuck. Could you make lav mics that work, that aren't 25 feet long, that actually work with my audio recorder? Instead, I have to go on Amazon and buy one that's 20 feet and I have to coil it up in my pocket like I'm some sort of fucking retard. So what's a pinky break? A pinky break is a very, very important technique in card magic. It's a technique pretty much that forms a foundation for every single aspect of card magic. And it's the most underrated, underappreciated, and undervalued move in all of magic because you see people do it like absolute morons. Also, you should pardon my voice because I'm very sick. So if you have an issue with the fact that I sound extra nasally, well, maybe you should just, I don't know, maybe you should just turn the volume up a little bit. Maybe you should just go and pause the video, go outside, do something productive. Anyways, a pinky break is a very, very undervalued technique because it pretty much forms a foundation for every single move in all of card magic. But here's the problem with the pinky break. It's overlooked. Instead of the pinky break itself, what are we looking at? We're looking at the double lift that it's used in. We're looking at the card control that it's used in. We're looking at whatever other aspect of the move. But guess what? It started with your pinky in there. So let's talk about some ways to make your pinky break a little bit better than it actually is. First things first, you're going to need to grab your favorite deck of playing cards. In this case, my favorite deck is a Bin Wang deck. That is, of course, until your boy comes out with his deck, which I've been teasing nonstop on my Instagram. You should check it out. A little bit of a hot teaser there. A little bit of a hot teaser trailer for those of you movie inclined linguists. So here is a pinky break. You get a deck. You see this? This is a deck of playing cards. I'm looking at the monitor right here. Don't think that I'm losing focus on you, the audience. I just need to see what you're looking at. So I don't end up looking like one of those Jabrizi videos where I end up doing a tutorial below the frame. I need to do it for the actual frame itself. So if you notice right here, a pinky break is just a separation that I'm keeping with my pinky on the rest of the deck. That's it. So this could mark either location above the break or below the break. You notice that there's a gap up here and there's one down here. So this could either be a pinky break for this card or for this card right over here. So that's what a pinky break is. Now, most pinky breaks that I see look a little bit like this. They look a little bit like this, which if you haven't figured it out, that's a problem. That's an issue that needs some fixing. So there's a number of things that you could do to assure that your pinky break doesn't look like Kevin Spacey explaining his actions. This is what I do for you guys. This is what I do for you guys. Hopefully the audio didn't blow up in the recorder. Oh, man. So first things first is establishing what part of the pinky we're going to be using at the break. So your pinky right here is split up in phalanges, in different sections, different sectors of the pinky. And the pinky that's keeping the break is going to be the upper, I want to say phalange right here. So this little meaty, fatty portion is going to be the one that's keeping the break. So in this case, when you have a pinky break, that's the part that's going in there. You see that? That's the part that's actually holding the break. It's not the nail. It's not this part right here. If you're doing that, you're an absolute psychopath. So let's talk about actually establishing a break before anything. So spectator picks a little bit of a card. Let's say spectator happens to touch this card over here, the 8 of diamonds, right? We put this card in the middle. One technique that I like doing is a down jog. This is a down jog technique. You see that? Sorry, an in jog. In jog for those of you guys from Sussex. It's a little bit of an in jog. So I just push down on the in jog, and by pushing down, you know what that does? That brings this packet up. That lifts this packet up a little bit. Look at that. You could see my mouth through that. You could see a little bit of a labia action there. But this lifts this packet up by just pushing down with my thumb. What that does is that pushes, you see that? That pushes this packet up and allows my pinky to actually keep the separation. So there's a little bit of a flesh of my pinky that is keeping the separation there. So that's one of my favorite controls to do because it's not so hard. You just take a card, put it in the middle, pull it down. Apparently look like you're scoring it in the deck. Really, you're keeping a break between both packets. At this point, you could just double undercut that puppy to the top. You could do the Mahatma control and shuffle that, and it's control to the top. The world is your oyster. So one tip here is after establishing the break, you want to make sure you have as little of the flesh on the break as possible. Now, what does help tremendously in this endeavor is your left thumb. So your left thumb, what it's doing is that it's putting a little bit of pressure on the top part of the deck. By putting pressure with my thumb and just putting the flesh of my pinky, you notice that pretty much hides the break from the beginning. Now, of course, we're using Bin Wang playing cards, which have an excellent feature that they highlight the break in the front end, even if you put the pressure of 1,000 Thors. But that still shouldn't deter you here. You're still going to end up doing just that and putting a little bit of pressure with your thumb and hiding your break that way. So that's a wonderful technique used to mask this particular angle from the front. Now, another technique that I've seen done before by Darwin Ortiz is a little bit of a bevel here. So what he'll do is that you'll get a break here, right? You see this little bit of a bit. So you have the pinky break with just the fleshy part, and you're going to bring up the deck in this way, putting pressure with your forefinger, and you're going to bevel the deck with your right hand. So notice that my right hand is squeezing the deck and just beveling it this way, just to give the spectator a little bit of an indication that there isn't any sort of control here. This is usually done like that after establishing a break, just to make it seem to the spectator that there's a free and open handling of the deck. So one more time, just to summarize the amalgam of information that I just gave in the past 3 minutes, without any rhyme or reason or order whatsoever, is you only want to use the fleshy portion of your pinky to establish a break. That's the first and most important part. You want to use your left thumb to press down on the top to make sure that the break is invisible from other angles. So that's another tidbit there. Another thing that I might see a lot of people do here, just to get on another tirade and another tangent, is right before doing a pass, or when they're going to do a pass rather, they'll have their whole pinky in there. So they'll get a break, but the way they'll get the break is that they'll put their whole pinky in there ready for a pass. You don't need to do that. You don't need to do that. As a matter of fact, if you do that and I see you at a Magic convention and you try to get away with that in front of me, I'm going to knock the cards out of your hand because I'm an internet tough guy. And I could say that through the medium of the internet in this case, with the fact that more likely than not, we're not going to see each other for quite a bit of time if I do decide to go out in public. So I could say that with the safety of the internet hiding my scared ass. You don't have to do that. You could get into the pinky break needed for a pass just from a regular pinky break. All you need to do is when you're going to do the pass, you're ready, you just insert the nail in there, and that's all you need. That's all you need. That way, when you get a break, let's say we get a break here and we're about to do a pass, you're not doing this action preemptively, right? You're not doing one of these bits, which I see done way too often, including by myself. I've done that. You're getting a regular pinky break just like this, and then converting that to a pass pinky break, or a break that you're going to do right before you do your little bit of a pass in that case. So for that, one more time, your pinky's like this. When you need to do the pass, all you're going to do, you're just going to insert the nail of your pinky break in there, just the nail of your pinky, and then that's going to be enough for you to do your little bit of a pass action. So that's another little tidbit with the pinky break, just to avoid a common flaw that I see when people are doing a pass. And I know it's just a bit of economy of motion. It's just a bit of economy of motion here. You realize, oh, if I just have my whole pinky in there from the start, I don't have to do another movement. That's not true, because the movement is literally this. That's the movement to get from a regular pinky break. See, there's a regular pinky break, and then this is a pass pinky break. That's it. It's not really that much movement that you got to do. Look at me talking about movement of my pinky. This is how to disappoint your mom 101. This is how to disappoint your mother 101. This is what you do. You do one of these in front of her, and then she ends up looking at you like the catcher of that baseball team when he saw his teammate running through the field looking like a fucking retard. Another technique to help your pinky break is to supplement it, to help it with some jogs, all right, some steps. So jogs and steps, for those of you guys that don't know or aren't part of the Card Academy, is a simple technique where you are essentially just using the deck itself to keep these nuts a placeholder. So in this case, this is a very exaggerated, sloppy action here. But you notice that right now, let's say the spectator picked this card over here, which is the 7 of clubs. In the action of closing up the deck, I don't have to hold a pinky break. I don't have to hold a pinky break yet. Right now, I established my pinky break, but that's after having a little bit of a messy situation with the deck where I could take it, hold it in my other hand, and gesture, and then I could establish my pinky break. So that's a simple technique to do. And the way we do that is as we have the spectator pick a card, in this case, it's the King of Clubs. We're going to return this to the deck. We're going to score up the deck, but look what's happening. There's a little bit of friction here. When I'm scoring up the cards, I'm just putting my middle finger of my left hand against the face of this card from the face of this right-handed half. So when I square this up, what's going to happen naturally is that card is going to jut out quite a bit, but it's going to look like a mess all around the deck. You see that? It looks like a giant mess, and it looks like nothing is being held in control here. But at any point in time, all I have to do is just square this puppy up, and guess what? I got my pinky break. So you don't have to necessarily rush to get a pinky break. You could delay it just a little bit. You could delay it just a little bit and get your pinky break that way. So in this case, it just simply looks like this. Sir, you could have picked any card you wanted. I didn't force you, right? I wasn't like your father in the game room, right? And then sharing you with his uncle, right? I wasn't doing that. So you could have picked any card you wanted. And of course, in that action, I got my pinky break again. So just simple stuff like that to supplement the actual pinky break. You don't need to rush into it. That's the next tidbit here. See, everything here is coming out of my brain. This is brain farts with Pigcake. You don't need to rush, okay? You don't need to rush. People rush. They get excited. They get anxious. They start sweating. They prematurely ejaculate. You don't want to be like that. You don't want to be like that. So it's okay just to delay the break just a little bit. And you could delay the break after getting a break. So you could get a break just like this. You could spread the cards out, make contact with your middle finger against the face of this card, square up the cards, and get into that position. You don't need to get into that position right off the bat. See, Magic is malleable. It's pliable. It's fluid. It's like genders these days, right? You could pick whichever one you feel like based on, I don't know, the breakfast you ate, not your biological predisposition. You could pick whatever it is that you feel like you are. One last tip here for you guys, your pinky break enthusiast, is to get the location of the break right. So you notice we have the length of the deck here, right? Your pinky break, my preferred pinky break, is to have it close to the edge of the deck. So you notice that it's not necessarily bordering on the end, but it's right on the edge. So the end of my pinky, the last fatty part, is pretty much jutting against the end of the deck. So you notice that pretty much this is parallel, right? You see that it's parallel. This is going with this. They're parallel, my pinky and the bottom edge of the deck. So you could actually feel it. If you touch here, there's a continuity of my pinky. That's the location where I like to have my break held. Some people like to have it a little bit higher up. Some people like to have it exactly where I have it. Some people like to have it a little bit out. I've seen people that have it a little bit out. You guys should get shot, but to each their own. But that's my particular preference for location. I feel like that has the best coverage from the front and the best coverage from the side, rather than just going too far. And in terms of easeability. So just think of that when you are practicing your pinky break. One thing you guys don't realize about wearing a mask and being sick is what happens is see the mucus from your nose accumulates, right? So the mucus accumulates underneath the little frizzle. There's the frizzle of the mask. It accumulates there, and then it ends up being pretty much a mucus check, right? You know, kids are doing vibe checks these days. I gotta do a mucus check every 2 fucking minutes doing a video. So I hope you guys appreciated this. Thank you guys for being part of this whole YouTube experiment, and I hope to really see you guys on the next video. Some of you guys have been leaving some heavy dislikes that I've seen. It's probably because I go on rambles and rants, but you know what? It's called differentiating yourself, okay? It's called marketability. You see me and I'm instantly recognizable. You could say, hey, that's Pigcake, right? Whereas you see other people doing the same thing that I'm doing, and they're all same. They're all the absolute same. They're cookie cutters. You could just pretty much pick them off a random selection from a 2K game. You could be playing WWE 2K20 and pick random selection, and you could make anyone else doing what I'm doing here. But I stand out because of a little banter and also the stuff, the mask, the attitude. So if you guys like this video, please hit the like button. It really helps tricking YouTube into thinking that this channel is better than it actually is. So I'm going to go and figure out different ways to use a spinning Susan, a lazy Susan, to plot my next move.
See you shaking that thing like who's daddish, with a look in your eye so devilish. You like to dance at all the hip-hop spots, and y'all cruise through the connect like dots. Not just urban, she likes the pop, 'cause she was living La Vida Loca.